Ask Reddit by AAD 1020. We are now less than 45 days from April Fool's Day. What long con pranks should be started around now? Deleted. I kept getting gnomes for my friend. They started off small, but got bigger with each incarnation. It went on 4 months until I got a full-size garden gnome and he ran out of other suspects. Might be late to comment here, but since there are very little long con ones, I'll share mine. About 8 years ago I was living in New Zealand. About 2 weeks before I was to leave the country, we were sitting around having our staff drinks at the bar I was working at after our shift. Some of my co-workers were talking about bad tattoos, so I chimed in with those are not as bad as the tattoo of the groundhog I have on my ass. Over the next 2 weeks I managed to talk to people one-on-one and slipped in that they would get to see it if they got me drunk enough at my going away party. Finally the day came and I got everyone who wanted to see the tattoo on one side of the room. I pull down my pants and they stare at my ass for a good 10 seconds before somebody says that they cannot see a thing. I look back and say, oh. He must have gone back into his hole. We spent 2 months in Europe 2 summers ago and rented out the house on Airbnb to cover expenses while gone. One of the renters was a film crew that shot a documentary about a local psychopath who killed a few people. The producers needed a home setting where they could interview witnesses and people who knew the guy or victims. There are plenty of interviews of people describing the murders and how evil this person was that clearly show our living room, guest room and kitchen in the background. My wife was not involved in managing the Airbnb listing, so while I mentioned the film crew to her 2 years ago, she never asked what it was about, and I'm sure she has absolutely no idea that this footage exists. I plan on just casually coming across the documentary on the 1st of April and watch it with her to see her reaction. Please update us, OP. When I was a kid, my grandma had a ceiling fan very high up with a long string attached. Every week, my dad would come over while she was at work and cut a tiny portion of the string off. After a few months, my grandma told us how she was worried she had osteoporosis and was shrinking because she can no longer reach the string. It was hilarious, but more than that, it was awesome to see my grandma hitting my dad after he told her. I've been sending a picture of a creepy clown to a buddy via text from a Google Voice number for 4 months now. Occasionally with a line like, "Do you wanna hear a joke? Why aren't you home right now?" when I know he's at the bar. He's asked every one of our friends if it's them other than me, and he now shouts at the bar, "Oh great, my fucking creepy clown is texting Emmy again," anytime he gets the texts. I've now purchased a handful of items from Amazon like a clown nose, similar wig, makeup kit, and his roommates are going to leave them laying around the house where he sits on the couch or in the shared bathroom. Ultimately on the 1st of April we will be hanging a clown mask in his garage where they hang out after hours after the bar, and we will reveal that it was me doing this. He's either going to be in tears laughing or will surely murder me. Completely worth it when I see him freak out from time to time. D. Please get a small clown doll and have someone tape it or tie it on top of the shower head. Or in the ceiling corner in the shower where you might see a spider if you don't dust. Maybe not a long con, but you'll need a syringe, and IDK how long that takes to get. Anyway, in 9th grade, me and my friends always stole each other's food at lunch when someone got up to go to the bathroom. So one time I filled white Linda truffles with ranch and 2 of my friends vomited. A while back I got an app that could send an error message to a computer with customized text. For a few weeks I would send sporadic messages like monitor error 1003, monitor sync error, etc. On April Fool's Day I sent the message, monitor radiation shield has failed, please step back 5 feet. This was back in the old Macintosh Finder days with a big 24 inches quart. There are some apps that can generate Windows 10 errors out there that you can Google, but I haven't used them, so I won't recommend them for anyone to install. My great grandpa got his kids to start cracking hard-boiled eggs on their foreheads. Then, on the 1st of April, he gave my great uncle a raw egg. Edit, thanks for the silver. That's some Ramona Quimby, age 8, https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Ramona_Quimby, age shit right there. We were all about the head cracking in elementary school thanks to that book. Here's how I convinced a friend his house was haunted. Rain-X is the stuff you put on your windshield to keep it from fogging up. Instead, use it to write on your friend's bathroom mirror various haunting phrases. They go into the bathroom, lock the door, get in the shower, and come out to find someone has seemingly written on their bathroom mirror while they thought they were alone. Get out, help me, something more personal, or whatever you like. Every time you want to change the message, just use some dish soap and then glass cleaner. Dip your face in it, then press your face to the mirror leaving a face print of it. This is more of a day of situation, but it's too good not to share. At my work we clock in by punching in our employee number. Last year one of my co-workers placed a sign on the time clock that read, "The time clock has been updated for voice activation. Please state your full name," followed by clocking in out. All day I just heard people yelling at the time clock trying to clock in. It was incredible. My manager was in on it too, so no one was made late because of it. Just good clean fun. This seems exactly like The Office or Parks and Rec when they put a sign on the coffee machine that said voice activated LMAO. This happened last year, months leading up to April Fools. A co-worker would send us all photos or just show us photos of his dick with a fake cockroach on it. He was called into HR, but it was a he said, she said, 6+ months in the past, and no evidence showing the actual picture text. I figured I would order hundreds of fake cockroaches and stash them around his workspace for the coming months. Those following months were hilarious. He never suspected me, he never caught me, but I also gave a ton to other co-workers. Finally, one day he was venting to me about how frustrated he was finding them in his car, in his CNC machine, within his toolbox, falling from his lunchbox, and flying off his windshield when he turned on his wipers that I turned red and just started laughing so hard I was crying. I'll never forget that look from him, all those months of him not knowing and complaining to me. Joke's on me though, I spent like $50 on fake cockroaches. Why is a co-worker showing you pictures of his dick TF? Bring hand moisturizer to work, and leave it somewhere like the break room. Conspicuously use it, and convince as many other people to use it as possible. On the 1st of April, replace it with a bottle filled with water-based lube. I would do this, but with hand sanitizer. Oh man, I have 500 bouncy balls at home, I should start doing stuff with them. Just put one somewhere on the floor. Just randomly. Act like you've never seen it before. A couple of days later, do it again. Then in 2 places. Then 4. Then 8. An invasion of the damn things. Bedside table. Office drawer. Driver's seat. Dishwasher. Shoe. On the curtain rail. Under the cushions. In the fridge. In the ice cream. By April Fools, they should be fucking everywhere, driving people mad. Edit. Alright, so I should have done the bloody maths XD. The nameplates at my office job have paper inserts with the cube dweller's name. I am going to print out a bunch of one person's name in smaller fonts, like increments of 0.25. I'm going to start replacing with smaller fonts each day starting the 1st of March. I know it's not super crazy, but should be fun. Jump it back to the original on April Fools. They'll notice it changed, but it won't be any different at that point. Don't know if you can pull this off, but it was of the funnier prank stories I heard on Click and Clack Car Talk. Some guys worked with another guy who was obsessed with his car's gas mileage. So the co-worker slowly started adding gas to his tank without the owner knowing it, like they'd add 2 cups a day for a week, then the next week, they'd add 3 cups a day, etc. Since the guy was so obsessed, He thought his car was getting better and better gas mileage and was bragging to everyone in the office. Then the guys slowly started to reverse the process. The guy freaked out. Everyone laughed. I wish someone would play that prank on me who doesn't love free gas. My freshman year of high school, I had a teacher that led some of us outside one day to mess around with chalk and dick around. Mostly we just drew fake handicapped spots onto the parking spots. A few days later we come into class and she's crying a lot. Teachers are coming into the room saying stuff like, "Is it true? I'm so sorry." Everyone is super confused, and when the bell rings she starts to tell us that a teacher's car was keyed when we were out there and the security footage confirmed it was one of us. She handed letters out to all of the students who went outside that day and told us that it was her last day. The letters were court notices from the campus police officer. People were crying, including me, and freaking out. None of us could even drive, so why would we have keys? On the second page of the documents it said April Fools. I think she was the only one who found it fun. What's the long con? Become a teacher? Not really necessary to do in advance, but my favorite prank I ever did was to my GF at the time. I was pooping and called for her to bring me more toilet paper from the closet. When she stuck her arm through the door to hand it to me, I grazed her hand as I picked it up. I had put some melted chocolate on my fingers, which smeared on her hand. She went dead silent and just said, "What the fuck is that? Did you come out and lick it off her hand?" It's my birthday and I've never been pranked on the 1st of April. However, I did prank my 8th grade teacher and got into a lot of trouble. He was this annoying to call for his job type, said he knew the police banned not uniforms. Anyhow, he would always walk around and around the classroom pontificating on whatever, and when he'd pass by his desk he would always step in his trash can to crush the papers. So I filled the trash can 3/4 with water and topped it off with scrunched up paper. Worked beautifully, and I spent the rest of the day on the hallway waiting to be told if I was suspended or not. This is hilarious. More or less long con, but I ordered a roll of 4 Ectal use only stickers and I plan on covering all my sister's belongings with them. Are you planning on doing it all on the 1st of April, or going for the more subtle items first? Somewhat related, sophomore year in college. The guys in the suite below us pranked us hard. Came home from class, super tired, sat on a stuffed animal by accident, felt something odd on it, turn it out, find a small card of a naked lady taped on its underbelly. Weird. I knock down a couple of books and my surprise, more naked lady calling cards fall out. I open my closet. Life-size cardboard printout of Edward Cullen from Twilight stares at me. I shriek, not sure how all of that was related, also not sure how Edward ended up in their shower a week later. I found out I was pregnant on the 31st of March about 3 years ago. My now husband sent me the "when she's still pregnant on the 2nd of April" meme. My aunt was having her first kid and started pushing like crazy because I am not having a child born on April Fool's Day. Luckily it worked out and he was born late on the 31st of March. Bringing donuts, cream and jelly filled consistently. Once to twice a week. On April Fool's Day, make sure it's filled with cream jellied vegetables. Or, for a last minute prank, just bring in donuts on April Fool's Day and make a big deal about it. Ooh, I brought in some super tasty treats today, wink wink, and try to convince people to have them. The joke is they are just regular donuts and there is nothing wrong with them. My roommate would get up and steal the shower as soon as he heard my alarm go off. 6 weeks later, I had him waking up to shower at 4:30. I would just turn off my Pavlovian alarm and go back to sleep for another 3 hours waiting for the real alarm. What an evil fucker. I had a roommate just like this. Wish this solution had occurred to me. When I was in high school, I brought a bag of garlic flavored jelly beans to school to prank my friends on April Fools. Instead, a classmate grabbed them out of my bag during group work. It was a school with under 100 students, so everyone knew I brought extra treats, and I hear some odd shouting from across the room. Said classmates then handed them off to our teacher to try, without saying why, and I unintentionally pranked my entire year. So I recommend putting out candy on your desk, and refill it with shocking flavors. Jelly Belly has oodles of odd and uncomfortable flavors. Bean Boozled challenge but without consent. Slowly move your friend's desk 1 inch a day or every other day. Deleted. As much as I'd love to see the new Twilight Zone reboot, I find the premiere date suspiciously suspicious. Jordan Peele has been pretty busy producing his movies. Imagine if the Super Bowl commercial was just a long con April Fool's prank. Sheesh. In college, a bunch of students got together with local police and staged a murder crime scene in a professor's office. Fake blood, yellow crime tape, the police taking statements and questioning the professor on his whereabouts during the time of the killing. It took a lot of planning ahead of time. Totally got him. Was talked about for many years after. Would be cool if he actually confessed. I put an ad on Craigslist in New York City looking for a Wookiee impersonation for a film I was making, but I listed my friend's phone number. In the instructions I wrote, if I answer just make the noise and hang up, it'll call you back if it's good enough. If you get my voicemail, follow the same procedure. Long story short, I forgot about it for 3 months, and one day I was out getting wings with him when he received a call. He slammed his phone down pissed. I asked what was wrong and he proceeded to tell me about how he has been getting weird phone calls and people just making noises and hanging up. I couldn't stop laughing and finally let him know why, and he was not as amused. Edit. I did not come up with this joke. Sorry I did not make that clear. Something inspired me but I can't remember what. It is still a good joke. Oh man, my roommate is gonna be so pissed in the next few weeks. Thank you. Every faucet has a shut-off valve for the hot and cold supply lines. With these you can adjust the flow of water. 45 days is a long time, so you'll have to go millimeter by millimeter if you start now. Start slowly decreasing the water pressure to all of your sinks. On April Fool's Day set them all back to full blast and they'll be like, wow, this is a very strong flow of water. The way you phrased, wow, this is a very strong flow of water, makes it sound like the most anticlimactic prank ever, and I'm cracking up. I've been secretly learning Russian for the past few months. On April Fool's Day I'm just going to speak Russian. Edit. A lot of people have asked what I used to learn Russian. I used Babbel. I tried Duolingo out for a bit but it doesn't teach you any grammar or anything, just a bunch of phrases. The part that was hardest for me was learning the Cyrillic alphabet, so what I did was I went to the Russian Wikipedia page for Oscar winners and transliterated the names back to the Latin alphabet. Really fun to see how they spell names like Robert De Niro, and it helped me learn the pronunciation by seeing the letters in words I was already familiar with. Planning on the fake head injury route or plain old Southern Slavic speech? Either way, good luck. The one I have planned for this year is to get a bunch of TV remotes that are the same as the ones my family has, and on the 1st of April put them all around the living room and hide the actual remote. Edit. Apparently I don't know how TV remotes work, but it could still be pretty funny to have a bunch with no batteries as they try and wonder why there's so many remotes. I think that all the remotes still will work on the TV. I started dating my now wife 20 years ago this April 1st. I'm almost ready to say April Fools. Deleted. Start buying different light bulbs for every light in your house. If you've got soft light, buy the sunlight bulbs. If you've got the sunlight bulbs, go with the soft light bulbs. Install all of them overnight going into April Fool's Day. Act like nothing has changed. For bonus points, continue swapping them once every few days and see how long you can keep it going. It's like electric gaslighting. At my old job, a coworker of mine would take safety glasses from the lab and hang them on her cubicle. She would often forget to take them back, so she'd have anywhere between 3 to 5 pairs on her station at once. I made it a habit to take an extra 2 pairs from the lab and leave them hanging at her station when she wasn't there. After 4 months her entire cubicle was lined with about 60 pairs and she thought she was going insane because no matter how many times she took an extra pair back, the number would grow. Slowly shaving off fragments of a walking stick to make someone think that they're growing. That reminds me of the twits. Or did she add bits onto his walking stick to make him think he was shrinking? I can't remember now, but I loved that book. April Fool's Day has been moved to the 5th of April this year. Really? Nice try. I know an April Fool's joke when he's right. I've always wanted to dress up like Dr. Brown, white coat, hair and all. Run into place with low employee turnover, look side to side, check your watch and ask, what year is it? Exclamation point. When they say the 1st of April 2019, act devastated and despondent, shaking your head. Slowly walk away, thank everyone. Come back April 2020 wearing the same outfit, exact same time and ask what year is it? Hopefully most of the employees are the same and will remember last year, and will say it's the 1st of April 2020. This time scream yes. Finally. I did it. Wahoo. Then run out of the bank screaming, I'll see you in time. Keep doing it every year, but switch it up. April 2021 you could also act dejected, 2022 you could look like you were right next to an explosion, etc. My wife and son teamed up on me for this one a couple years ago. Drove me nuts. For weeks leading up to the 1st of April, one or the other would report that there was a leak in our bathroom. I'm the default handyman, so I check it out and sure enough, there'd be a mysterious puddle of water on the floor. Check the walls, ceiling, no moisture. Check the tub, the shower, no drips. Kept happening week after week, and I could not figure out what the hell was going on. The 1st of April comes, kid comes in and says, I figured it out. I found the leak. I follow him to the bathroom where he proudly points to one of these on the floor. https://imgur.com/gallery/rpczge7 close bracket. Promote this kid to dad. Act shifty like you have the best ever prank planned, then actually do nothing on the 1st of April. Much like Leslie Knope in Parks and Rec when planning Ron's birthday party. A marriage proposal prank on my roommate. I talked to my roommate's girlfriend about doing a prank where they go out to dinner and while they are out I sneak all of our friends in and decorate the house as if I were the boyfriend with roses and lit candles and write "Will you marry me" on a big board. Then when they get home she is going to see it and start screaming and crying and say YESSSS. His girlfriend is in on the prank BTW. A guy I know did several of these pranks to his girlfriend, one April Fools with the last occurring after midnight, technically 4/2. At that point he actually proposed and they're now married. The story is pretty epic. Deleted. The long con would be to act like you don't know what he is talking about when he says it's a prank. Fake a coma. You can't stop faking it on April Fools and tell everybody about your prank. That's a good night's sleep. For those of you with friends with backpacks and a lot of moderately heavy items to put into them. 1. Figure out which pocket in their backpack your friend doesn't use. 2. Get your items ready. 3. Every day put another item inside your friend's backpack. 4. On April Fool's Day, remove all the objects. They'll likely pick it up and it'll give them a good shock, and it'll also make them stronger too. Guten Pranken. Deleted. Actually the missus and I are a ways into this one, signing my sister up for every free send me a sample we come across. We started in January. Highlights include adult diapers, sample size sex lube, Bible and ensign, living in Utah. We also planned for one of her ex-ma's presents to be a note telling her it was us. I know one it's too late for if you live with someone who gets home newspaper delivery. Save the 1st of April paper from last year, then on the 1st of April of this year be a nice person and go pick up the paper for them. Wait to see how long it takes them to notice. Start learning a foreign language. On April Fool's Day, pass out and wake up only speaking said language. You're going to need a lot more time to pull this one off. If you start now, you might be able to make it work next year. Apex Legends needs to turn on fall damage for the day. Friendly fire would get more people killed. Same as I do the rest of the year. Turn up at work and try to convince people I'm competent and hardworking. It's going to be hilarious when they eventually find out I'm neither. Till my career is an April Fool's joke. Might not be one you can start now, but if you have long hair and you wear glasses, get most, or all, of your hair cut off, and switch to contacts. Then just pretend you're someone else for a day or so. Would work even better if you have a beard. Edit. Wow, only a few hours in and this is already the most upvoted thing on my account. All for something I did in 6th grade when I first got contacts. Edit 2. Reworded so it didn't seem like I had a beard in 6th grade. I am a dude with long hair, glasses, and a big beard. They could have done a 2-year-long con with Brexit if they'd timed it better. They haven't they? We officially leave on the 29th at 2300 hours, so the first working day is officially April the 1st. If they play a lot of video games, slowly turn up, or down, the sensitivity on their controllers until the 1st of April, then turn it back suddenly. Eater, I'm getting a lot of nerds real riled up here, to which I say, jit good. If they play a lot of video games they'll know something is off the second that you change the sensitivity.